Hello there. Right, I hope you enjoyed creating your very own graphic novel, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about the activities I've got for you to choose from now. So there are actually 3. You can do just one of them, 2, or in fact all of them if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about each one. So the first one is I would like you to have a go at designing a poster that shows the order of the planets going from the sun, so going into order, so inspired slightly from the Galaxy Warriors Space Wrap book. So can you put them into the correct order? So a little bit of a science theme there, and you can colour that in and make that as attractive as you like. You can have an extra challenge and think of a mnemonic, which is where you use the first letter of a word to help you remember. So for instance, we've got the order of the planets. It goes from the sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and you would take the letter from each one of those planets and you could give it a different word. So I'm going to leave that as a challenge for you. You might want to do a little bit of research and see if you can find ones that are already out there, or you could make up your own. Okay. Now the second activity that you can choose to do if you want to is linking back to your graphic novel, is thinking about either your superhero or your villain, and I would like you to try and create a vehicle. Now it doesn't have to be a car, it could be anything that can transport your character around the setting that you chose. So for instance, if it was in space, you could make a junk model, a space rocket or a spaceship. If you had your setting and it was in the ocean, you might design a fancy boat. Now you can let your imagination go wild and create whatever you like, again using the crafts and the recycling that you've got around your home. Okay. Think about what your design is going to be. As always, plan it a little bit first, see what you've got available, and then just let your imagination go wild and see what you could use to transport. It could be either for your hero or your villain. Okay, now your last activity is again linked to space, and it's if you've ever wondered how craters are formed. Now you will need some special equipment to do this that you should probably have at home anyway, and I will go through how you do that and show you that in a moment. So over to this link. So this is exactly what you can have a go at doing. So the first part was where my daughter had a go just using a paper pencil, felt tip pens, and had a go at drawing out the planets. Did a bit of research on the internet just to make sure that she got the order correct. I did some research that actually said Pluto used to be a planet, and some people still think it should be. So that's up to you whether you include Pluto in your order. So that's quite interesting. And also we found a mnemonic where it said, "My very educated mum just served us noodles." So the first letter of each of those words is to help remember the order of the planets. So my would be M for Mercury, very would be the V for Venus, and so on. So you could find a different one or even make up your own. And then I had to go at making some Play-Doh planets. Now they're not exactly to scale, but it was a lot of fun having a go at making them. I think my son probably needs to be quite a bit bigger. But that's your task, so go off and have fun and look forward to seeing the results. Hi, so I promised you fun space related activities, and this one is all about craters. Craters, how are craters formed, I hear you ask? Well, they are bowl-like depressions that are in the surface of the moon, and they are formed by asteroids hitting the surface or volcanic activity. And we're going to create our very own craters using some household ingredients, so I'll show you how we do it. So to do this experiment, we're going to have some kind of tray. You could use a baking tray. I've got a plastic round dish. I thought I'm going to go for a round one just because I'm going to try and make it look like the moon, but you could use any plate or tray. I've got some plain white flour. It could be self-raising or plain. I've got a sieve just because I'm going to sieve my cocoa, which I've got in here. I'm going to put that over the top, and then I'll show you what we do next. So let's get the flour in the tray first. We need this to be about 2 centimetres deep, so I'm just going to tip that all into my tray. just like that. Try not to get it everywhere. Okay, I'm going to give it a little shake just so that it's quite level to start off with. Okay, then I'm going to get my cocoa and put that over the top. And this is very satisfying, makes a nice covering. So I'm going to shake that over. So I've got like 2 layers of my different powders. So here goes. And then once I'm happy with, I'm going to put all of it in, I think, just going to go for it. Once I'm happy with my layers, this is where the fun starts, okay? So we've got marbles, and on my tray I've got some different sized marbles. So to start off with, I'm just going to get one out, about this size, and I'm going to see what happens when I drop it into my pretend moon. So watching. So it's made a little dent in there, I've got a little crater. I'm now going to use the same marble, and I'm going to see what happens if I do it a little bit higher. Ooh. Oh, that's deeper. So let's see what happens when I do it right from high up here. So I've got my hand right up here. We ready? Whoa. So this time I've got a bigger crater, and it's actually gone through to the flower. So I'm going to experiment with a different size now. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use my large marble. Okay. So I've got quite a bit bigger crater there. And again, I could do the same thing where I could keep dropping it from different points until I've got something that looks like the surface of the moon. So that's a great crater. It's gone right through to the bottom and made the surrounding bits fan out. So this makes a really good effect. Now you can just do this all the way around. You could have a go with, I've got some smaller marbles, and you can just do it until you get a nice pattern that you think looks like the moon. However, if you do want to do some measuring, you can also do that and be quite scientific and see, well, how you think the height and the size of the marbles from where they're dropped and how big they are, how that affects them. So I've got a, you could use ruler, but I've got a tape measure here. So you could do some measuring, and we've got the centimetres there. So that one across would be almost 3 centimetres for that crater. So you can have lots of fun making your own moon and having a bit of a play with some science as well. So have fun, and I look forward to seeing some pictures of your moons.